Play the United Supreme Court should avoid United States v. Morrison on Congress Clause we can clarify been 20 discrimination violence is increasing now in 6 everyday form of died countries full of domestic violence, number of women who have been murdered by their partners is greater than the number of soldiers killed in the Vietnam War every year. 130,000 women report rape in the courts and action perpetuates violence against women as a catalyst for societal-wide oppression. Goal for 2K. Theorists of devoted attention to significant male violence and symptoms cause women's oppression, gender inequality, from their function, different distribution for violence against women. Express and actualized that power, the active fact, confirm and extends that power. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Morrison is a slippery slope for future cases to degrade women. Sailor and 2. Distinctions key values for one by person concerns outside the purpose of the law. The court reinforced notions of more suggested in legislation to protect women. The endangered because the law will improperly involve family law and giving proper valuation of women's impact on interstate commerce is necessary in structural discrimination against women. Only the Supreme Court can act. Johnson and 3. The Supreme Court is the highest court of the nation. Needs to take steps to remedy discrimination. First, reinforcement of this discrimination. First step is to uncover systems of privilege by recognizing the ending of the harmonization of judicial potential of the constitution. That's Morrison would be upheld the court must for proper valuation of the recognition of reality and economic impact of balancing to whether the legal system is accurate balance of these rules and discrimination will automatically cease to exist. The court needs to follow suit, and the Supreme Court is critical. It shapes cultural values, public morality, and teaches state judges. Bob 198. The Supreme Court's exposition of constitutional law plays an important role in the political system. The court of its opinion so much of politics understanding the values and principles contained in the Constitution, government law, officials including state officials, members like the federal branch tend to view decisions opinions support not really decide cases and do not really decide rules for other courts to apply. They also announce values and shape the public understanding of the contents of our common constitutional culture, which forms the core sense of political community. The court has a responsibility to articulate values with clarity and vigor, and federal judges or key local judges won't prosecute. Fresney 93. Civil rights actions are necessary to overcome ineffective state local laws. The inadequacy of state laws for a couple of the we can justify the need to follow federal remedies proven necessary to effective the past local jurisdictions are unable to promote the rights of their citizens. So the federal courts are more effective for rural victims which present claims of civil rights violations, and the court is complicit in such discrimination must act to deny the arbitrary public benefit economy making it okay. Morrison does not simply respect the praises left for one's part of one's public about elevating women or ever violence against the express Morrison fights the location where violence is unavailable and going into destruction of women's freedom and fighting the court failed to recognize the case of the public's complicity in pointing violence against women in private right and creating a constitutionally entrenching a public standard of impunity for it, and violence against women makes women more vulnerable to other forms of discrimination. Only the plain can solve the rule book. Okay. Violence against women is an integral social control. Federal civil rights means that ideally recognized to address harm inflicted by violence against women. Civil rights protections necessary as a precondition for children. All those civil rights guarantee women equal opportunities in employment, education, and family, and the nation at large to live with an empty promise women must bend jeopardize the bodily integrity of the last pursue this opportunity. Effective remedy must reinforce women's as equal citizens. A function that only federal civil rights law can fully perform. The impact to the award in one TV because long as society has to tolerate crime, all forms of violence could be we don't know what peace is for the women being work on and war peace is got to begin with peace between the sexes, and violence is intertwined from AI identity of gender victims of abuse and fear discrimination for constitutional rights violation pays away from what's trusted to the widespread killing people because they are people or ready to by virtue of their identity advantage to his poverty, rejecting poverty as a categorical inherited subjugation to law cross makes all impacts inevitable be here. 4. Poverty and special education convinced in human suffering and energy that is easy to inflict this war bridge by here in our society after as poverty was with the further degradation being discrete upstream leading away from the attitudes and conscience of society to world states of moral legal obligation to ensure the basic needs of well-being of all its citizens. The United States says that absolutely promises we must hold this nation to its promises. 2 internal links. First, the Child Support Recovery Act of Plainwood overruled United States v. King, which was based on the Morrison Commerce Clause precedent that implements the interstate portions of the Child Support Recovery Act. Svinsky. And 3. United States v. King was the first court decision to challenge the constitutionality of CSRA after Morrison King. Stated the Supreme Court's holding Morrison clarified the Congress must regulate conduct that obstructs interstate commerce only when it comes to substantial effectiveness. They hold the CSRA unconstitutional is uncertain as will get over to the higher courts will be the catalyst of number of change opinions in the future, and the CSRA is key to recovering child support. Federal elections key. Sailor 2. The CSRA is uniquely situated to handle the interstate case. Federal evidence should be available lawyers needed to overcome the resources once non-custodial parents which state local enforcement agencies can actually check the current official aid the federal government can assume the responsibility for the interstate cases to enforce the child support obligation. In fact, the CSRA provides funds to help states agencies to enforce child support obligations. The CSRA states like sitting western and federal and state governments are getting tough with the down payment with the entire nation. Economic food matters, federal mentions to public. The issue is important national concern whether the federal government is involved. The problem is how the Child Support Recovery Act eliminates poverty is key to educating the skilled labor force by and by. Child support payments provide critical advantage to children. This program helps provide for brighter future for millions of children. 60% of all children living apart from the purpose of child support payments at 80% of all low-income children depend on payments secured by the program. Funding is cut their children across the country lose more than $24 billion. The federal child support program helps ensure the stronger start in life for millions of children across America. The children who receive child support do Better in school child support helps community more than 1 million Americans on poverty, makes it more likely for families to find and keep children that deserve the full support of their parents and education of a skilled labor force to keep the economic growth, removing millions of people out of the cycle of poverty. May and 5. May and 6. Moving low-income minorities out of poverty is a community economies where needs of skilled workers. The country is facing a looming labor crunch. So at least 2008 will continue to grow as the baby boom generation retires at low parental income, associated with fewer years of schooling, low chance of graduating, lower college attendance, estimated lifetime earnings of individual high school degrees, almost $4 billion less than individual college degree, and only 3/4 of the total amount are by someone with an associate's degree in skilled labor force gain economic competitiveness biker. In 6, continuing competitiveness to the U.S. economy depends on the strength of its workforce, promoting flexible skilled labor force, which shows U.S. objective that leading in the fast changing world economy that's key to the global economy. IHG and 3, the global economy piggybacks on the U.S. even if they go to America breaks in the run. It's something we have to face when the global economy fully depends on the U.S. growth, the nuclear war, being negatively in the hopes of the market, if the economy decides to face international conflict, the countries of the global major then to the world in Germany and Japan. And the second internally is restitution. This reform is providing restitution for debilitating financial crises that impact victims of violence, terminating Carry 1098. Recent legislation makes more available to volunteers in support of anyone who commits crime violence as liable for a compensatory of punitive damage to follow less restitution in order to fix such benefits, physical, occupational therapy, loss income, services, criminal generally in many cases be enforced like a civil damage award. The impact is fundamental to human happiness and liberty. Vendor of 98. For laws and power, especially power to social justice for law, can now be ignored and carried by listener and responsible increase in tort provides agent parties to court over remedies even more they come to knowledge that they were wrong. These functions to law are very important because don't have some place where agents can go on their own initiative to rely on criminal prosecution to laws to move on to the next step to the conscious by the necessity of appropriate remedies for law. Give must be restored and proper criminal laws and practice tools social injustice and social justice. Advantage 3 is RICO, more limitations on criminal culture, useful limit, and strike down civil RICO enforcement mechanisms. I'll strike through 2. Until recently, civil legal power and power living in the federal case more contested as own true. Morrison continued on federal money leadership in the enforcement of criminal law. Morrison cast fears down the constitutionality of federal RICO. The court might continue to quest for new federal conviction in 1964. Yet Morrison become a closer role in the last federal found the economic more sinister circumstances for police than I think. Interesting, but 1964 Steve Collins unconstitutionally protected as racketeering activity in the forms of RICO assaults rogue pharmacies. From Myers and Ford use of rogue pharmacies circuit regulation of state threatening those who use the sites of tainted old subpotent or still potent drugs in the federal government. Joints of power fight these the states of protection to the public as well as civil RICO allows the state to have better regulation and the plaintiffs have a high propensity for success under civil RICO. Myers and Ford proven kind of racketeering stuff that RICO claims against internet pharmacies of any two predicate offense based customers having below all shepherds of the students should not be project go through thousands of predicate offenses and rogue pharmacies have 2 internal links to terrorism. They will fund WP operations and they will use the drugs themselves for a bioterror attack. Poland and people kind of terrorists with the money is terrorists which have been funded by purchasing large quantities of student and terrorist organizations. Then the aspects of that these organizations are paying for search drugs and selling counterfeit drugs with the United States good drugs as well. No relax the legal implication with all the increasing growing threat for medication supply the states to global terrorism, urbanization, shocking history, spring plots and kill plots, 3 million, such a attempts to blow up the terrorism, global and open ourselves, hoping to make blood and jihad on the soul, the soil of their chief enemy, extinction, December 97, nuclear chemical weapons do not reproduce, and that IDF pathogen, illegal pathogen would be, lethal pathogen would be capable of initiating intensifying cascade disease, that might ultimately threaten the entire world population, and rogue pharmaceuticals kill pharmaceutical innovation, point interesting. And 4, rogue pharmaceuticals that can be by expired substance contaminated transmitted products, the other could be now particularly not part of the global scientific activity, because the reputation spent more on pharmaceutical manufacturers, customer grade, probably by consumers should invest medication could have been avoided. We are on the threshold of an aging crisis. We're looking 5 years. We are on the threshold of a crisis in long-term healthcare. This is a serious real number of workers are qualified healthcare is dropping as the number of elderly person rises, and a strong pharmaceutical industry is key to solving the aging crisis. Since 1999, potential experiments and unprecedented growth in elderly. The needs of the elderly will have to have possible enforcement and new tax and taking inheritance medicine. I really think we should make the elderly population place dependence in the state. The elderly are high use of healthcare pharmaceutical industry not to wait to help first the treatment states. The second is the ability to delay the onset of financial crisis will certain sections of the body medicine to allow the elderly greater independence to add life to the pharmaceutical industry. So we're going to emergency greater understanding of the genetic makeup of certain disease will enable research to eventually turn around each disease will allow all people to continue to be productive and have a reasonable quality of life. This makes all impacts inevitable. Peterson 99 list of the major global hazards next century global corporation competency and financial economic global after global thinking there's less of a chance greater than the world population may actually do more to reshape our future identities on next century probably have been wanting to be Canada and unlike the other challenge and preserve and answer new box global agent will be far beyond the world wealthy exchange failed to rare world talk economic crisis with what we see about station much ability to stop manage and afford to manage other major challenges facing the future.
You talk about, you put Morrison in the context of a slippery slope of Supreme Court decisions that will lead to more restrictions on women, right? Or less empowering decisions.
We read a piece of Saylor evidence that indicates that the Morrison precedent would be used to strike down other progressive legislation. If that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, that's true. attitudinally, the court takes that sort of position. If the Morrison decision exists, that gives them the court the opportunity to impose more restrictions, right?
Okay.
Do you have any? Is that basically?
That's a fair characterization.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Do you have any evidence that says that the Morrison plan, as one example, overturning it would be able to reverse this sort of thinking of the courts? Do you think
I understand that there's a conservative sentiment in the court to progressive legislation, but our Saylor evidence indicates that the only way to strike it down, they have to find reasons that they can strike down progressive legislation, and a lot of those other things have been gotten rid of by other decisions dealing with the 14th Amendment and other things like that.
Given the interaction between the Commerce Clause and federalism issues, they could easily just look to federalism as a reason to overturn and not address it on
But there's only a couple things that they can cite in federalism.
Okay, but I mean,
like 14th Amendment.
Do you have any evidence that takes that into account and then would say, look, the Supreme Court, all of a sudden, Roberts, Alito, Scalia, all these people are now going to think, oh, we should protect women?
It doesn't. No, but all of our evidence is about how it would be struck down, and also our Saylor evidence is about how the Congress is deterred from writing progressive legislation because they think it will be struck down. And our Saylor evidence is pretty good on the point that that's because of war.
So right now, this doctrine is going all the way to affecting the way that Congress treats this.
Yeah, it's a chilling effect argument also.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's talk a little bit about your CSRA evidence. Your evidence talks about the King case. Now, this was on the appellate level, the district level.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, all of the 13 cases that then reached the district appeals of these cases upheld the constitutionality of the CSRA.
Yeah, that's.
Why is this still an issue?
You're correct that it upheld the constitutionality of the CSRA, but the U.S. v. King struck down the interstate portions of the CSRA. This Javinsky evidence takes that into account. It says all of the other cases that have ever dealt with the CSRA have held it constitutional,
Do you have any evidence
except for the
that
part
speaks to the way that the Supreme Court would hear this?
The district court, the law of the land is that the interstate portion of the Child Support Recovery Act is struck down now.
Yes.
That's based on
some
precedent.
lower court decision. So,
But it doesn't exist.
Do you have any evidence also that lower courts, after the Supreme Court decision, will reverse the decisions that they
No, we
initially
didn't
made?
preempt every argument in this advantage in the 1AC book. Those are all pretty logical conclusions from the evidence. And
Your
it looks to
aging
the Supreme
crisis,
Court to
your
make the
Swillig
decision.
evidence, which is sort of the uniqueness, says the issue or the problem with healthcare or the problem with the aging crisis is the lack of healthcare workers. It seems that even if the pharmaceutical industry is strong, how do you create some sort of surge in the number of people who can take care of the elderly?
This might sound like kind of a winky example, but the example that Peterson gives later is that it allows people to work in things like Meals on Wheels programs, that older people can feed older people. There are a bunch
How
of
does a strong pharmaceutical industry interact with that?
Verbatim out of the card, it says it gives life to years, which means instead of having to take care of older people can begin to take care of themselves, which means that it's not a drain on things like Medicare and Social Security.